Good morning from the farmer's garden. Well, it's morning. I'm one of the farmers. I can't say it's been a good morning so far. I want to talk to y'all about coccidiosis in goats. We just lost a baby goat. If you saw my video on Facebook about our Dottie and her triplets, her beautiful triplets, I knew it was too early to try to start this video. Okay, Dottie had triplets. She had 2 with ears and 1 without. No ears is a La Mancha trait. And little no ears was called Curtly because his little ears were curtly. And he just died of coccidiosis, which is, coccidia is a parasite in the Eimeria family. I wrote a research paper in college, but you're not going to ask me to remember any of the facts right now. It's not going to happen. So basically coccidia, like a lot of other parasites, your goats are going to have it in their system pretty much all the time anyway. It's not a matter of eliminating it from their system. It's a matter of keeping it at a level that it doesn't overwhelm their system. So it's a kind of like when you're exposed to the flu once, and then the next time you're exposed to the flu, it's not as bad. And then the next time you get the flu, it's not as bad because your body is building up that resistance. That's basically what you're trying to get your goats to do as well. So in December, so that we could start some clearing and getting some more space for the goats, we moved them into basically a dry lot situation. They're in an area that is heavily grazed. It's had goats on it for a long time. It's got a lot of fecal material there. So we moved them there so that we could work on clearing. And we got things clear, but we didn't really have a good idea where we wanted the fence. And so they've had hay, they've had the things there, so we've left them alone. Last year was not a great year for hay in East Texas because of the drought. And so the quality of the hay this year is just not as good as it should be. And this is my fault because I should have gone out and been looking for better hay. And I didn't. What was available went out. This is another reason to carefully watch the forage that your animals are allowed to have. They need to have good quality forage. Summer and winter. A lot of people in East Texas let their cows eat absolute crap all summer long and then want the very best quality hay for the winter. Whatever you're going to turn into hay for the winter needs to be the same quality as what your cows are eating in the summer. Whatever your cows eat in the summer, it needs to be the same quality that they eat in the winter. Same for goats and what other animals you have. You don't get to use poor quality forage and expect good results. That's what it is. So anyways, our goats have been in a dry lot situation. Again, coccidia is out there. All animals have it. So the animals that are on that lot have built up a resistance over time because they're exposed to it. And so they have slowly been exposed to more and more of the coccidia. And so it's not a big deal for them. Now it could be a big deal for any of their kids that are born this year because clearly there's already a good number of the parasites out there. So what happens is these parasites are, again, I wrote the research paper on it, but I'm not remembering all the facts straight today. But they're shed out in the feces, they're on the ground, the eggs remain in the feces, and then as the goats eat around it, they're able to take in those eggs again. Once the eggs are back inside the goat, they hatch, they begin to develop, then they become this parasitic issue. We didn't have a super cold winter. Normally a super cold winter would kill some of the eggs that are available on the ground. They're not going to kill any of the parasites that are inside the animals. They're warm-blooded animals. The parasite load is going to stay the same. It will kill some of the eggs that are on the ground. Same thing for an exceptionally hot summer. Occasionally that will affect them. But again, I'm not remembering for sure if that affects the coccidia or just other parasites. But a super cold winter will kill some of the eggs. We didn't have a super cold winter, so the eggs that are out there are still the eggs that are out there. So as things have begun to get green this year, the little bits around the field that are still grass, because most of it is just dry lot at this point, the baby goats especially like to nibble on that green stuff. So a baby goat has not been exposed to coccidia before. Even if the mom has it, it's not like the baby gets it in utero, so he hasn't been exposed before. So all it takes is just like a little baby getting the flu versus a grown-up getting the flu, it's going to be worse for a baby. So this baby was exposed to coccidia. he got to a point where it was more than his system could handle. That's when it's considered coccidiosis, is when it becomes a disease. It's more than they can handle. I noticed the first signs of it early last week, and I failed to treat. Again, that's my bad. I'm doing this video so that you don't do the same thing. So the first signs of coccidiosis are going to be a very disgusting loose stool. Very disgusting loose stool. So it's going to be just awful diarrhea. And the smell is absolutely unmistakable. When you smell it, it's going to be like the very bottom of a septic tank. It is awful. So anytime you see that on your baby goat's rear end, on their tail, on the ground, on an adult goat, we've lost adults to this before. I had goats growing up in high school, and I learned everything that I should know about poor management. So that's why I'm so mad at myself right now, because if we could do it wrong, it was absolutely done wrong when I had goats in high school. So again, we've lost adults to this before. So when you see that stool, it's time to start treating immediately. If you want, you could take it to your vet and confirm, but I'm going to tell you, if it smells like the bottom of a septic tank, it's very most likely coccidiosis. So what you can do is you can go to Tractor Supply or Atwoods and buy something that's called Corid, C-O-R-I-D. Or you can Google that and find the active ingredient, and you might be able to find one that's not that name brand. But Corid solution, you're going to treat the water for your whole flock. This is to treat anybody that is not yet to symptom stage, but may be building to that point. So the instructions are on the bottle. I'm not going to tell you that. You're going to read the bottle and follow the instructions on the bottle. Treat the water for your flock. So you're going to dump out all water. Start fresh every day with fresh water according to the bottle. And then you're also going to treat the individuals. And again, those instructions are on the bottle. You're going to find a syringe, set out the individuals that you know need to be treated. You're going to treat them. I did not start this early last week when I saw it. I waited until Sunday. And if I had started early last week, it might have made a difference. It might not have. I don't know. I'm just mad because I knew all of this stuff. Like I say, research paper. I took a parasitology class in college as an elective. Like, I chose to take parasitology. And it was not an easy class, and I got an A in it, and I'm proud of that. So shout out to me right there. But I wrote the research paper on it. Like, I knew about this because I had seen it so many times in high school. In high school. And so I'm just kicking myself that I knew the things and I didn't do the things. So anyways, what I'm about to do now, I was going to make jelly today. I just don't want to go stir jelly today. I'm not going to do it. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to work on a fence. And it's not an ideal fence. It's not where we would want them long term, but it's what I can do right now quickly and get my goats off the dry lot situation and out here. Again, the goats that are in there, they've been exposed to the coccidia over time. They've all built up the resistance. So they're probably all going to be just fine. Now, when their kids start dropping in a month or so, they might have an issue. It's hard to say for sure. They might not. They might be fine. But I'm going to move mine that are not as resistant. And that also makes me mad because I try to have resistant animals. But I'm going to move mine to a different situation, find them some better hay, do the things that I know I should have done in the first place, and we'll just start there. But that's your lesson on treating coccidiosis as soon as you see it and not waiting and hoping it will go away. It doesn't work that way. So yes, we lost Curly this morning. We are down to Pork Chop had 3 babies. One was stillborn, one she lost recently, and that one showed no signs of coccidiosis, but that could have been the issue. Really don't know. But she has 1 baby left, and then Dottie had 3 babies, and she has 2 babies left. Those 3 babies still seem perfectly healthy. The water is being treated for them. So hopefully, if they are on the way to building that extreme case of coccidia, hopefully we're treating that ahead of time early enough to keep them from getting sick. But that's where we stand. So, frustrating morning on the farm already. Pretty ticked at myself, and I'm sure most of you will be like, oh, it's fine, and it is. It will be fine in the grand scheme of things. It's just outside of my personality to let things go. So anyways, there you go. I hope you learned something. I hope you now have an idea what to watch for in your own flocks with coccidia and how to treat it and when to treat it. The answer is as soon as you suspect it. The same thing can be true for calves. Calves can also have coccidiosis. Again, it's extreme scours. The smell will be awful. You could treat the water, you could treat the animal. It's also a thing for chickens, but I'm not clear on what the symptoms are for chickens. It's never been an issue for us, and so I have no idea what the treatment is. I know you can treat them with Corid, but I don't know what the symptoms are because chicken poop kind of looks runny all the time. Anyways, thanks for stopping by the farm. Hope you learned something. Y'all be sure and tell your friends about us and come back when you can stay longer.